We're live. Hey, everybody. Happy Friday. We are here on this Finance Friday with Chris Aguilar of AH Construction and TCA, which is a real estate education company. He's a father, a husband, an entrepreneur, and a real estate investor. And Chris just told me, big congratulations. We added a new one to the mix, new baby.
Yes, yes. Thank you, Bet. We did.
That's awesome. Well, congratulations to you. Um,
Thank you.
Chris, you want to tell us a little bit about you? I know you're all things real estate, right? Huge in the real
Yeah,
estate world. So tell us a little bit about what you do and what you love about real estate.
I am a little bit of a can I say this, a biased entrepreneur because I feel that real estate is the best tool that we can use to experience life on freedom, the best, most efficient and effective vehicle that can take us to live a life of our dreams. And real estate changed my life and my family's life. Bet as a young entrepreneur at
That's exciting.
23 years old, 23 years, 20, 22 years old,
23. Okay.
23.
Okay.
I'm 41 now. I'm 41 now, but at 23, I started in real estate. Actually, 21, but 23 more as a professional with companies and all that. Did my first
Okay.
10 year, what I call legacy plan or financial plan. And it was to buy one property per year. The parameter was that each
Ooh,
property had to
okay.
have $100,000 in equity and $1,000 cash flow every single month. In 10 years, I'm making
Okay.
$10,000 a month in cash flow and $1 million in equity. I'm a millionaire. That was my young goal for no reason.
That makes
And
sense. That math works, right?
yes, it was phenomenal. It was phenomenal. We call it the napkin vision because I wrote it in a napkin in a restaurant, and we still have it.
I
It's in my
love it.
book, Just Maximize.
Love it.
But that came to pass within 5 years or so, and
Oh, and it
my
was a
life,
10-year plan. It happened in five.
yes, and my visions were surpassed by far. As when I started taking real estate serious, and I found that the reason why most people fail in real estate is because they do not treat it as a business. So I started treating it as a business, and now we own over 100 and some properties, probably on the upwards of 120 properties around our country,
Yes.
and we
Oh,
taking
wow.
care of it.
That's neat.
So yeah, we're all real estate. We own AH Construction, a developing company. That's my baby. The company will be 18, 19 years old here in November. We own holding companies, asset management companies, property management. We do our in-house property management for our properties, most of our properties. Some
Okay.
we not, and we also own TCA, which is the Chris Aguilar LLC. Under that umbrella, we have Maximize University, a school that we use to
Oh.
teach people, the majority of people around our country that want to learn real estate, how to take territory the way we've done it. Mhm. That's what we
Okay.
do. Bet.
Can you give us like a little snippet or like a summary of what you're teaching people in the real estate? Because that I think is probably, that's the hard part, right? It's hard to get the good information out there.
Yeah, I would say thank you for that question, Ben. I would say that it is Henry Ford said it. Henry Ford said the definition of power is the ability to organize people and express it through intelligent actions. That's Henry Ford, not me. And the reason I love that quote is because I feel that what TCA Maximize University teaches is exactly that. We help people find out what their strengths are as entrepreneurs, real estate investors, business people, and then partner up, not hire them. For some, we do recommend they hire them. Maybe they have the financial capacity. But for most of our students, partner up with those weaknesses, people who have those as strengths, and give them equity in certain parts of the
I
property,
love
sweat
that.
equity, investment property, capital, whatever that is, through the BFWDR strategies. That's an acronym we use here in TCA, and the B stands for
Okay.
buying and holding, fixing and
Okay.
flipping, wholesaling real
Yeah.
estate, developing or redeveloping property, and real estate listing strategies. That is the
Okay.
vehicle we use to identify properties and teach people how to find more deals. And even I'll say even this, but our students and our company, the people under our leadership, can identify deals that others simply just can't because they're basing things on opinion, not on wisdom, knowledge, and
Ooh.
experience. Mhm.
Okay, okay. And I like that, you know, so we're CPAs, accountants, right? It's a specialized skill, right? So I all day, every day, I talk to people and I'm like, are you an accountant? No? Okay, so stop doing accounting. Like, what are you good at? Right? If you're good at the real estate, if you're good at, identifying good properties to buy or whatever aspect of it, you might not be also good at like the accounting. Go find a good accountant, right? And, don't be your own lawyer. Go find a good lawyer or
Yeah.
whichever aspect of the business. And I love that you said before, you have to treat it as a business. It won't do what you need it to do or want it to do if you don't treat it like a business. But yeah, find the people that can be part of your team to help you shore up the parts that you don't like, you're not good at, you just don't want to do.
Yes. And Beth, thank you for inviting us to your podcast. I'm honored to be able
Yeah.
to be here with you right now. But I would also like to know, you as a CPA, how involved are you in real estate?
I'm actually talking to you from my Airbnb right now.
What part of the world?
Yeah, I'm right now in New Jersey. I know it doesn't sound that exciting, but I'm like 2 blocks from the beach, so that part's exciting.
Hey, New
And
Jersey's exciting if it cash flows.
yeah, right. I mean, it's a little sentimental. It's also near like my family. I'm from here. It's a couple blocks from the house I grew up in. My parents are down the street. But it was like we kind of have, you're talking about that like 10-year plan. We kind of have a plan like that. It's like I don't necessarily want to do like tax returns forever. So we're like, well, maybe real estate, right? Maybe that's the way. Maybe we'll go pick up properties up and down the coast and you know, spend a couple weeks at each one and go up and down the coast and just do it that way. So we're looking at 5, 10 year plan. How many properties can we pick up? Where can we pick them up? But it definitely also gave me a better perspective for helping clients, right? Because now I know what they're going through.
That is so true. So I would imagine
Yeah.
that you have customers who own real estate,
Mhm.
right?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Oh yeah. One of our favorite tax saving strategies, especially when we have like the people who are like couples that are both high W-2 earners, is we do a lot with short-term rentals. But it has to be the right thing for the right, you got to put some work in. The client has to like it. Like I can't tell them what to do. They have to decide this is what they want to do. But for those who are like, oh, I've been thinking about real estate and they have like high incomes, there's great tax advantages. So that's why I like that particular. I also just think it's fun, right? Like you want to pick up and go somewhere. Well, if you have property there, it's easy, and you don't need to feel like, "Oh, I have to live there or I have to move or deal with maybe like a long-term tenant, which is a different situation. So I I I like the short-term rental market. I mean, I don't. Do you
Yeah.
do you play in that area, Chris, at all? Or
Yeah, we do have some corporate rentals, some Airbnbs. Those
yeah,
just locally here in San Diego because we found that with our strategies in different states that we can use to maximize our cash on cash without going to Airbnb, but our corporate rentals. But I truly feel that for someone starting, um, it's always good to first start with traditional, and then as let's say somebody buys, a perfect scenario will be somebody buys a fourplex, and then they grab this fourplex, they rent three traditionally, and one they do Airbnb or corporate rentals. That way they're getting the income from those three, and they're learning the business of Airbnb, how Airbnb pays or RBO pays, or insurance company
yes, yeah.
rentals. And then once they master that, then I would advise to go out and do it in a new property that is close to the beach, kind of like the one you're
Oh.
at now, and go full throttle. Yeah,
All right. Well, I didn't follow your model there. You just went right into the Airbnb, but
it's great.
I like that diversification, right? Because part of why we got into real estate was we did very well over the years with the stock market. Like very like traditional. And we were kind of looking at things and talking to a financial advisor, and he's like, well, what do you have for real estate? And we're like, well, we have our house. He's like, you don't have any investment properties? And we're like, well, maybe we should, right? Yeah. So for us, it was like a little diversification, a little future looking, like you were talking about, 10-year plan. And then, you'd get another income stream. So that part, can't complain about that part.
Yeah. Well, congratulations that you went. You
Thank
took a
you.
deep dive on a river of with high currents, and you were able to succeed. That just speaks about your leadership and your ability as an entrepreneur. So, congrats. Yeah,
Oh,
that's
thank
amazing.
you. Thank you. And Chris, I think I heard you say the words my book. Did you say that before? Do you have a
Yes,
book?
Mhm. Yes, we
Can
do
you
have a
tell
book,
us?
Bet.
Tell us about it.
Yeah, so the book is called Just Maximize, and it's a real estate investment book. And I start with sharing my story, how I started as an entrepreneur. I didn't want to be involved in developing at all. As a matter of fact, I went to school and got a degree in import exports so that I wouldn't do construction or developing. And I stumbled
That's
into it
so
after
funny.
college.
That's really
Yes,
funny. You're like, I don't want to
yes,
do this.
yeah. And I have such a passion for it. So I wrote this book, and the reason I wrote the book, when I first felt in my heart, I'm a church going guy. We're a faith based company's family, and I felt like this inner impression, this need to write a book. And at the time, but I was having about 4 years ago, 5 years ago, I was having health issues, pretty bad, breathing issues, and nothing to do with COVID. It was just uh, I had a maybe TMI, but a grown bone into my nostrils, and it was
Oh my goodness,
inflammation
that's
was on both
crazy.
sides. It was horrible.
Yeah,
It was horrible. I couldn't breathe.
that's
Finally, they
crazy.
identified it. I got operated, and I'm good now. Like I can breathe. Feels so good to be able to breathe. But anyways, I thought that I was gonna. It was so bad, but I thought I was gonna live a short life, and I had experienced wealth at a very young age. So I said I need to write a book so that my children. At the time, I had 3 kids. I said my children one day can go out and build wealth the way Daddy built wealth because I might not be around for a long time. So I wrote this book for my children.
That's that's crazy
Yes.
though, because it's like you have like a near death experience basically, and it kind of
Yeah.
changes like priorities. So wow, that's
Yeah.
amazing.
But then I'm like, hey, I learned how to speak English when I was like, and write when I was really like in middle high school. And I was like, how am
Oh,
I going to write? How the heck am I going to write a book? Like, I'm going to run out of words in the first, like, 3 pages or something. And before Chat GTP and all those amazing programs that we have now, I wish ChatGPT. I would have known about ChatGPT back then. It probably wasn't out yet. But
it
here's the
didn't
thing.
wasn't around.
No, not back then. And then I'm a little bit stubborn, so I didn't want to hire a ghostwriter. I hired Dr. Lisa Dunn, who is an educator nationwide, and she helped me edit the book for spelling and composition and all that. But anyways, wrote the book, and as I was finishing the book, I went. My goal was 300 pages, no, 250 pages, and I wrote close to 400 pages. So we had to take stuff out of the book. It was so much, and I left an original version for the family and friends. But
Oh, that's really awesome.
the
That's
300-page book
awesome.
is out for our students and friends, and it is really a book that it should be able to teach someone who doesn't know anything about real estate how to create wealth through it
Oh wow.
using
Where can we find
the
this? Where can we find your book?
so you can shoot me a message through Instagram and we'll get you a book if somebody's listening to this and wants to read a book. We don't have it on Amazon. It's really for our students,
No.
family and friends.
Okay.
And so it's
Gotcha.
anybody listening to this podcast is it's a friend already. So send us a DM message. Yeah.
That's
Yes.
awesome. That's awesome. Well, Chris, thank you so much for taking the time, coming out, talking to everybody. I have one last wacky question for you. Do you
Please.
have any unusual talents or hobbies or something a little nutty about yourself you can tell us?
You know what? That's a good question. I would say it has to be. This is boring. This is boring, but I gotta tell you. So it has to be me sitting down and just watching documentaries. I love to learn as a hobby. I
I've
love
gotten
to
into
learn for fun.
documentaries
Okay, so it's not
for
weird
like
for you.
the last like couple years. I've been like, I think it's an age thing. I'm like, I'm not gonna say how old I am, but I'm close to what you mentioned earlier, and I'm like, I think you just get to a point where you're like, you know what, real life is sometimes more interesting than
Yes,
the fiction that people come up with. So I am also a bit of a documentary fan for sure.
that is what that
That's
that's how
funny.
I yeah, that's what I would say for that. But thank you. Hey, what is yours? Can I ask you what is yours?
Oh, I have some odd ones. So the one I usually talk about is that and it's not just me, it's my whole family. We do stage combat sword fighting. So
Okay,
yeah,
stage combat. Wow, I would like to get
yeah,
into that. That sounds
yeah.
really
We
fun.
we we sword fight for fun.
That is impressive.
Yeah,
That
we
is
I don't know. We've been doing it for quite a few years. We train and we we do it generally in a local park when we're down in Florida, and we perform at like Renaissance fairs and comic book conventions and private events and things. So yeah,
wow. So okay, hey, can somebody hire to do that? Fly you into San Diego for a party and you guys do an
you
exhibition for
could,
us?
you could.
Okay, then we know who to call when we want something extraordinary.
Yes, yeah. When you need the like Game of Thrones party or the Witcher party or oh God, I don't even know what else. You want the Renaissance fair recreated? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't think that's weird. I think that's pretty amazing. I think it's very like Kingsman is very royal. We got to go to Europe, England, among other countries beginning of this year before my baby Natalia was born. I'm sorry, Italia was born, and I got to enjoy some of that culture. So I saw a lot of that, and we
Yeah.
loved it. So
That's
that's
awesome.
good.
That's awesome. It's a lot of fun. It was all it's been fun over the years. Like my kids are like teenagers now, so they don't like anything, but when they were younger, they were into it. Now, you know, they're too cool. I don't know how old your kids are, but mine are like old and
You're
they don't
still
like to
young.
do
You're
anything
still,
anymore.
my
Yours are
I
still
I
little and
have
they don't give you that nonsense.
I have my son bet that he actually I'm like, oh my God, am I a bad father? He sits down and watch documentaries with me and he enjoys it. He enjoys it.
No.
He loves he's a learner.
Good. He likes the Lord. Yeah, exactly. He likes the Lord. It's fine, Chris. You're good. You're good. Don't worry.
Yeah. But thank you for
All
asking that.
right.
Thank you for your time. We
Yeah.
appreciate you much. And looking forward and hey, do you do cost segregation reports or do you do accelerated
Yeah, we can.
depreciation for your clients?
We can.
Oh,
We can. Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, we might be able to do business together in that. We do that
Awesome.
often. So, yeah.
Awesome. 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 All right, Chris. Well, thank you so much for coming on. And we'll link to your contact info if anyone wants to hit you up and learn more about the cool stuff you guys are doing, educating the people about real estate. And yeah, we'll share it out. Well, thank
Right
you
back
so
at you.
much.
Thank
All
you. God
right.
bless. Bye bye.